Okay, so I was having this conversation with that lady that I'm always telling you guys about, the one who has MS, and I was also talking about this to my husband, and both of them did not agree with me, and it really surprised me because I don't know. I guess it just seemed different to me. But anyways, I'm gonna ask y'all because I need to get some more opinions on this. Okay, so I have this baby that I watch on Wednesdays, and he's 7 months old, and so he's like an infant little baby. Not saying any words, not walking, and I've been watching him for a while now, so I know how he is. I know what triggers him. I know how to calm him down. I know what makes him cry, and his mom, she just gives me like full reign with him. He comes over for a few hours every week, a few hours every Wednesday. And, she says I can take him with me anywhere. So I take him to me with the store, I go to my friend's house, go to my family's house, I bring him with me like he's my baby. And so I have a hair appointment scheduled for Wednesday, and I was going to bring him to the hair salon with me. Like, like nothing. Like, it never even crossed my mind that it would be an issue. And the hair salon that I'm going to go to, the lady with MS, her daughter is like the owner, principal of this hair salon. And so she's giving me the hookup. So I was just telling her in passing, I was like, hey, I called the salon that your daughter works at, and I made an appointment and all this stuff. I'm going to go on Wednesday when I have this baby. And she's met the baby. She knows him. And she was like, you're going to bring him to the hair salon? And I said, yeah. And she was like, I don't think you're allowed to do that. And I said, why wouldn't I be allowed to do that? She was like, because he's a baby. And I said, yeah. And I just didn't understand what she was getting at. And then so she said she was going to ask her daughter if that was allowed. And I just thought, of course it's allowed. Like, why? What do you mean? Like, there's no place you can't bring your baby. Like, what? I just never even heard of anything like that. And so I came home, I told my husband, I was like, hey, I'm going to go to the hair salon with this baby. And he's like, why would you go to the hair salon with a baby? And I'm like, why would I not go to, like, what? You bring your baby with you everywhere. You go to the store, you go to the bank, you go anywhere. You just bring, you're just another person. And then I go back tonight to the lady, and she tells me that her daughter at the salon, they have a policy against no babies. And I'm like, since when is that a thing? And so, what a lot of y'all know, if you know me personally, then you know that I've worked in nail salons. I've worked in beauty salons for a long time. Like, before I was a housewife, I worked full-time in, like, 4 different nail salons. And one of them was a beauty salon, so they did hair in there, too. I have never heard of a policy where you could not bring a child into the salon. I mean, I know, like, it's not like they don't love it when you bring your kids in, especially if they're bad. But I've never heard of a policy where you couldn't bring your kids in. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me because it's like, first off, it's a woman-oriented facility. And so women are going to bring their kids with them when they go places because why would I get a babysitter for 2 hours when I'm about to go get my hair done? Or like when I go get my nails done? Like I can think of specific instances working at salons and seeing little babies and, touching their little toes and grabbing their ankles and saying hi to them and waving and making faces at them while I'm doing their mom's nails or, her feet or her toes. And it's like, it's nothing, like little babies to toddlers and, school-age kids, like, they're just, like, it's just kids. And I just think that's so strange that, like, I don't know if it's because it's a hair salon or whatever, like, I don't know what the problem is. Like, it just really surprised me that a hair salon would have a rule against not having kids. And another thing that he brought up, because he was like, yeah, it's a disturbance to the atmosphere, because kids are in there running around and, people trying to get their hair done. And I'm like, well, what if the kid's a customer? What if I'm getting my kid's hair done there? So it's like, it's okay if they're a customer, but it's not okay if they're just hanging out with me. Like, and I was just like, this is just discrimination. Like, that's how I see it. It's like, this is just open discrimination against a group of people that are children, because my husband, he was like, oh, kids are disruptive, kids are loud, kids are unruly, it might not be every single kid in the world, but it's enough of them to where you can have a policy to where you'll be forbade from bringing in, any kid. Like, pretty much all kids are banned because kids just have a bad reputation of acting wild in public. But I'm like, okay, let's extrapolate that niggas have a tendency to act bad in public. So now we're just gonna have restaurants and facilities that say niggas can't come in here if you're sagging your pants, or if you have X, Y, and Z on, you can't come in here, or if you're just if you just look like someone, because black people are 13% of the population but commit 60% of the murders. So based on that, children have a statistical probability of being bad. Okay, niggas have a statistical probability of being bad, so we're just gonna say you can't bring them in. Or is it going to be you can't bring white people in, you can't bring disabled people in? Like, I just think that that's crazy. And I think that that's a bigger symptom of a society that we live in that is openly discriminatory and, hateful towards children. Because I heard a story about a restaurant who did this. Like, charged the parents an extra fee because they had their kids in there. And they said that, the kids were being excessively bad and that's why they charged the fee. And, maybe, sure, whatever. There was no video that ever came out of that restaurant. They was just, the parents' word against the staff. But, I just think, like, it's not okay. Like, it's just not okay to openly discriminate against children. Like, yeah, some kids are unruly, some kids are bad. But to say that you cannot bring your children in here, like, it's an inconvenience to me this is not my child. This is just a child that I'm, taking care of. But, if this was my child, it's like, it's a bigger inconvenience to the parents than it is to the hair salon owner. Because if this is my child, then I'm with my child every day. So now if all the salons in my town have this policy of where I can't bring my kid, where am I going to go? Versus you might have to deal with me and my child for a few hours once a month or every 2 weeks or whatever. And it's like, why? I just think that's ridiculous. Like, we just have these policies where it's just okay to, single out kids. Like, kids are gross, kids are loud, kids are annoying, kids are a hassle. So just kind of shoo them off into the corner and, we'll speak to them. They should only be speaking if they're first spoken to. And it's like, children are a blessing. We should have a society that loves kids and wants kids and, is openly supportive of kids. Because it's like, if I'm not having any kids, then this establishment isn't going to be around for the next generation because no one's going to be here to be in it. And it's just like, I don't know. But let me know what y'all think. Because, like, for one, I've just never heard of that. I've worked in lots of salons. I've been in lots of salons. I have never heard of this no child thing. That's just strange and foreign to me. But, what do y'all think about that? Like, is that, do you understand why? Because I could understand the reasoning. Like, I can get the fact that, yeah, kids can be bad. But just to have a carte blanche of, say, you cannot have your kids. It's not even like a 3-strike rule. But it's like you can't have your kids at all. It's like, I just think that's kind of extreme. But, let me know if I'm tripping or not. Because I was having to go toe-to-toe with my husband and my lady. And I was like, this does not sound right to me. So, anyways, let me know what you guys think.